Thanks for watching the Next News Network. It's time for your top stories. As currency crisis at home and abroad drive investors and businessmen to embrace Bitcoin, the Treasury Department is working quickly to impose regulations on the virtual currency. The Wall Street Journal reports that the Treasury is imposing money laundering regulations to virtual currencies. This would mean elaborate bookkeeping requirements and mandatory reporting for transactions valued at more than $10,000.
The budget sequester may mean no guided tours of the White House for visiting school children, but it hasn't meant a reduction in lifestyle for Vice President Biden. A recent visit to Europe last month took Biden to Paris, where he spent a single night in a hotel at a total cost of $585,000. The same trip included a limousine bill of more than $300,000 and $459,000 for hotel accommodations in London.
The U.S. Department of Justice is seeking to impose a version of a no-fly list on Federal Express and UPS. This regulation, imposed in the name of drug enforcement, would require that packages be opened even if there is no reason to suspect that they contain contraband. Federal Express points out that this would compromise sealed packages that contain medicines prescribed by licensed physicians. The company has long had a policy of refusing shipments by potential customers identified as criminal suspects, but the DOJ refuses to provide couriers with a list of so-called rogue pharmacies who would be subject to the new regulations.
Deputy Craig Culpepper of North Carolina's Onslow County was forced to resign after a road rage incident in which he caused an accident on the interstate. Despite being at fault, Deputy Culpepper wasn't cited by police in the interest of professional courtesy. The indulgent treatment of Culpepper continued when the Sheriff's Department quietly rehired him just days after a wave of public outrage forced his termination.
In February, 26-year-old Maryland resident Robert Ethan Saylor died after 3 off-duty police officers dragged him from a theater. Saylor, who had Down syndrome, was a huge fan of law enforcement and intelligence operatives and had sat through a showing of the film Zero Dark 30. He wanted to catch a second showing, but theater officials insisted that he had to purchase another ticket. The 3 officers used 3 sets of handcuffs owing to Saylor's size and then placed him on his stomach. After a couple of minutes, Saylor began to cry for his mother and display symptoms of respiratory distress. He died shortly thereafter. On March 22nd, a county grand jury declined to press criminal charges against the police who apprehended Saylor. You're watching the Next News Network.